Okay, so that last video got cut off, but you can see that line A is actually perpendicular to lines B and C because their slopes are the opposite reciprocals. And we can determine that lines B and C are actually parallel because they both have -1/5 as their slope. Okay, moving on to number 6, I can pull out here the slope because it's already in slope-intercept form. So the slope here is 3/5. But line B, we're going to have to actually put it into slope-intercept form. And I'll divide by 5 and get y is equal to 3/5 x minus 2/5. Okay, so again, I can pull out my slope. My slope is 3/5. So already we can tell that line A is actually going to be parallel to line B. Okay, because they both have the same slope. Okay, they have 3/5 and they have 3/5. Okay, let's look at line C. Again, I'm going to have to put it in slope-intercept form. So I've got -6y is equal to -10x minus 4. And then when I divide by -6 and I simplify, I get y is equal to 5/3 x minus plus 2/3. Okay, so my slope here is 5/3, which is the reciprocal of 3/5, but it's not the opposite, so it's not -5/3. So we can't conclude that they're perpendicular. The only thing we can conclude is that line A is parallel to line B. Okay, moving on, the question number 7 is asking, what is the slope? And again, this is important that you highlight, okay, because you have to make sure you answer the question. What is the slope of the line that is parallel? Okay, well, we've learned that parallel lines have the same slope, so we need to put it in slope-intercept form to figure out what the slope is. So we're just going to solve for y. To do that, we'll get -3y is equal to -3x plus 12. And then we're going to divide by -3. Okay, when we do that, y is equal to x minus 4. So the slope here is 1, so the slope parallel would actually be 1. Okay, so the answer there is 1. All right, number 8, what is the slope? Again, we're finding the slope of the line parallel, okay, to this one right here. This might be a good place to stop the video and try it yourself, okay, and then just resume it when you finish. Okay, so when you finished it, you should have seen, let's solve for y. So we get -5y is equal to -2x minus 10, and then we divide everything by -5. So in slope-intercept form, y is going to be equal to +2/5 x plus 2. So our slope is going to be, because it's parallel, it's going to be the same. So our answer for the line that's parallel would just be the slope is 2/5. Okay, all right, so now we're finding the slope of a line perpendicular. Okay, so perpendicular is a little different. We're going to need the slope that's the opposite reciprocal, but again, we've got to put it in slope-intercept form. So this would be -10y is equal to +x plus 20. We just brought the -x to the other side by adding. And then we divide each term by -10. Okay, we get y is equal to -1/10 x minus 2. So if our slope here is -1/10, our perpendicular slope is actually the negative reciprocal, which would be just 10. So our answer would be 10. Okay, with this next example, again, it's a good place to pause the video and try it when you come back. All right, just resume the video. You should have highlighted the fact you're finding the slope and it's going to be perpendicular. Okay, so we're going to solve for y, put it in slope-intercept form. 5y is equal to -4x plus 1. Divide by 5. Okay, so y is actually equal to -4/5 x plus 1/5. Oops, pen's not writing. There we go. All right, so our perpendicular, or if our slope is -4/5, our perpendicular slope is actually going to be +5/4. We take the reciprocal and the opposite. So there's our answer. Okay, moving on to number 11. Okay, write an equation of a line that passes through the given point and is parallel to the given line. Okay, so we're going to go back here and we're writing an equation of a line. So this time we need to find the slope, but our answer is going to be the equation of the line that passes through the point and is parallel. Okay, so we look here and we need the slope. Our slope is going to be 2. Okay, so it's parallel. It's going to be the same slope. So we'll do point slope form. Y minus 3 equals 2 times x plus 1. Okay, y minus 3 is equal to 2x plus 2. And we add 3 to both sides, so it's y is equal to 2x plus 5. That would be our answer. Okay, 12 would be a good place to try it on your own. I'll continue on. So parallel, we want our slope here is going to be negative 5 halves. It's going to be the same. We'll use our point. Y minus 8 is equal to negative 5 halves times x minus 6. Y minus 8 is equal to negative 5 halves x. And then negative 5 halves times negative 6 is 30 halves, which would be 15. Okay, then we add 8 to both sides for our final answer of y is equal to negative 5 halves x plus 23. There's our answer. Okay, the next example, it says write an equation of the line. So we're writing the equation of the line that passes through the given point and it's perpendicular to the given line. So first off, we want to find our slope. Here our slope is going to be 1, but we need the perpendicular slope. The reciprocal of 1 is still 1, but the negative reciprocal would be negative 1. So we're going to use this slope right here with this point. Okay, so y plus 3 is equal to negative 1 times x minus 3. Y plus 3 is equal to negative x plus 3. And then when we subtract 3 from both sides, we end up with y is equal to a negative x. Okay, number 14 again would be a good one for you to try. Okay, try it and come back. All right, you should have identified your slope as being negative 2/7. Perpendicular slope would be positive 7 halves. We use this slope with this point. We would get y plus 4 is equal to 7 halves times x plus 2. We distribute and we get 7 halves x. Plus this would be 14 halves, which would be 7. And then we subtract 4 from both sides. So our final answer would be y is equal to 7 halves x plus 3. Okay, moving on to 15, it said what line is parallel to y equals 3x plus 1 and passes through the point negative 1, 2. So let's graph both the first line, y equals 3x plus 1. We started our y-intercept of 1. Slope is 3, 1, 2, 3 over 1, or down 3 to the left. So there's our first one, first line. We want to pass through the point negative 1, 2. Okay, so our second point is going to go through that point right there. Okay, so if they're parallel, okay, again, these are parallel, so we know they have to have the same slope. So here the slope is 3. We're going to use the same slope for the new line, and we're going to use this point. So point slope form again, y minus 2 is equal to 3 times x plus 1. Y minus 2 is equal to 3x plus 3. And we finish with y is equal to 3x plus 5, okay, because we added 2 to both sides. And that's the equation of the new line, so let's graph it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay. And if you notice, our slope is still 3, so if we went down 3, we would land on the point we started with, okay. And go down 3, 1, 2, 3, and over. Notice it's going to be parallel. Whoops, not a very good line, but. Okay, number 16. What line... Okay, and again, this would be a good one for you to practice. What line is parallel to this equation and goes through this point? Okay, so if our slope here is 4/3, okay, we want to use that slope with this point. Y plus 1 is equal to 4/3 times x plus 3. Okay, y plus 1 is equal to 4/3 x plus, and this is going to be 4 times 3 is 12. 12 divided by 3 is 4. And then we're going to subtract 1. So y is equal to 4/3 x plus 3. Okay, so let's graph both of these. We start out at negative 2. Okay, 4/3 x. So we're doing this one right here. Okay, 4/3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we've got a line that looks like that. And we wanted to go through the point negative 3, negative 1. Then negative 3, negative 1 would be right here. Okay, we'll do this one in red. Okay, and let's see, we've got 4/3 x plus 3, so 1, 2, 3, so it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, that would work out with the slope, and the line would go something like this. Okay, notice the slope is positive. Okay, moving on, what line is perpendicular? So we want to highlight this again. Okay, this one's going to be perpendicular and it passes through this point. So let's start first by graphing this one. So we've got a -1 as our y-intercept. Our slope is 2/3. So we're going to go up 2 and over 3, or down 2 to the left 3. Okay, so there's our first, okay, line, and we want this one to be perpendicular and going through -2, 2. So our slope here is 2/3. Our perpendicular slope is actually going to be -3/2, opposite reciprocal. We're going to use that new slope with the point, so it's y minus 2 is equal to -3/2 times x plus 2. We distribute y minus 2 equals -3/2 x, okay, minus 6/2, so it's -3. Then we're going to add 2 to both sides. So our final equation is y is equal to -3/2 x minus 1. Okay, so let's graph that. All right, so we're going to start at -1, which is right here, and our slope is -3/2. So we're going to go up 3, 1, 2, 3, and to the left 2. Okay, or we can go down 3 to the right 2. Okay, and if you notice when we graph it, we're going to get two lines that are perpendicular. Okay, number 18 says what line is parallel. Okay, so pay close attention to what it's asking and passes through this point. So we know parallel is actually going to be the same slope. We want to go through this point. So again, let's graph it. 2x plus 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Our y-intercept is 5. Our slope is +2, so let's go down 2 to the left 1, down 2 to the left 1. Okay, so we have our line. Okay, and we want it to be parallel. Go through that point, so this would be y minus 2 is equal to 2 times x minus 1. Y minus 2 equals 2x minus 2, and we'd add 2 to both sides for an answer of y is equal to just 2x. Okay, so if we graph y is equal to 2x, our y-intercept is 0, our slope is 2. Okay, so it's going to look like this, and they are parallel. Okay. All right, so that's actually it for today. Thanks.